expensive. We're staying at room 13. Usually airy and usually buried, and that's just how my life goes. And I don't ever try to dress to impress. Fuck you, preppy assholes. On the 14th floor and a bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the party's mixed, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on the seat and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 100 of Fired Up. That's right. It is the 100th episode extravaganza. That's what we're calling it. That's going to be the title of the episode. I'm Mike Gilletto. Joining me as always, Dom Consul, Chris Lucia. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, boys?
Not much. It's going to be a great, fun night. We got a whole bunch of stuff planned throughout the night. We're going to have various guests on. It should be very fun. Listen, April 27th, 2021, that was our first episode. Almost 2 years ago, and here we are 100 episodes later. We're still having tech issues. Dom, we're 100 episodes in, and your headphones can't connect. What's going on?
Listen. Well, they did connect. I figured it out. We always figure it out, right? 100 episodes of tech issues, 100 episodes of my cat making noise. I'm sure you guys will hear it tonight. I got the laser pointer just so she doesn't make any noise. She's very talkative. 100. For some reason, I got soccer on right now because there's no other sport on right now.
Hockey. What do you?
And there's dude from like El Salvador is getting sprayed. His back is getting sprayed. I don't know what's going on. It's 100 episodes.
What game?
Mike,
It's
Mike,
the U.S.
What's our over under on Dom's phone percentage? We gotta go higher.
It's been higher recently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 64 and a half. That's my.
I go over. I'm gonna go.
You hit the over. Dom, what is your phone at?
So are you going over or under?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I set the line. I'll go under. I think it's under that. 64 and a half.
Okay. It is under.
Oh, come on.
How much under?
Not by much. 56.
That's a pretty good line by me. I like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. That's I would say on a day like today. What do you call it? It's probably a little high for this point in the day for where I'm at. It's usually around like in the mid 40s at this point.
Well, like 3 months ago, it'd be on like 4%.
It'd be dead.
It'd be dead. Yeah. We would be doing our top five of top five with his phone basically dying
on like 1%.
Yeah, he's trying to get it in. But before we get started, I gotta tell everybody about our sponsor, Manscaped. They just released their Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It's got the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It has the beard shampoo and conditioner, the beard oil, the beard balm. Lots of good stuff there. The Performance Package 4.0 is a really great product as well. Use promo code Fired Up to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Help achieve the cleanest beard look in the game at Manscaped. And you could also check out SeatGeek, $20 off your first purchase using the code Fired Up, or Fired Up Sports. Sorry. You want to bring our first guest in right away? We're ready to load it.
Well,
right.
you want
go ahead, Chris.
No, you're good. You're good. I thought you were gonna get them intro them in.
Well, here we go. We got from the P-Lot podcast, John. Guys, is it just you tonight, or is Michael joining us?
I don't think Michael's joining us. He's in college right now. He's a junior at St. Joe's. I think he's either doing homework or shotgunning a beer right now. I don't know which one.
We're both at the same
There's
time.
There's no in between.
Yes.
He could be doing actually. He's probably. Let's be honest. He's probably doing both.
Yeah, I would be disappointed. I would be disappointed if he wasn't doing either of those things right now.
Right. Exactly. But before we get into, we're obviously going to talk a little Eagles. Before we get into all that, tell us kind of about the show, how you guys came together, formed the podcast. Just give us a little information about the pod.
During the pandemic, when we were all bored out of our minds, we wanted something to do, and my cousin and I, we just talk sports all the time, and I've done podcasts in the past. So I said to him and his friend Ethan, I said, I think we could do a podcast together, because basically for most podcasts are just people talking sports, except they just record themselves doing it. So
that all sounds very familiar.
Yeah,
because Mike and I are cousins, and then Chris was my buddy, and we were bored. We always talked about sports, so why not hit record?
Exactly. We can get kind of into the Eagles. I know you obviously big football guy. You specifically said you want to talk Eagles, so let's get at it.
Yeah, because I saw we have other hosts coming on, and they want. Obviously, there's huge Flyers news today.
Yep.
And Phillies and Sixers, so I didn't want to step on anyone else's toes. No one mentioned the Eagles.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, I think he froze. Uh-oh.
We'll have the turntables.
We'll give him a minute or two. There he is. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah.
Again, it would not be 100 episodes of Fired Up.
We can't hear you, John. Uh-oh. You see you moving.
No audio. All right.
And he's gone.
And
I'm sure he had something riveting to say.
just like that, he consoled out of here.
Yes. We're starting off hot here.
Exactly. Listen, I guess it's a good thing that we started a little early, because he wasn't even supposed to, we weren't supposed to have him until 9:05. So we started a little early, get these things kind of rolling. We're going to talk Eagles. I was going to ask him an Eagles question, and what do you guys have on the Eagles until he comes back?
Why is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson still running his mouth?
Because that's what he does.
Oh my God, he's such a troll lately.
Who, me?
Yes.
No. DJ.
Surprise!
Sorry, but I had some technical difficulties. I don't know what just happened. I'm on.
Believe me, I understand.
You have Comcast?
I did a pod Sunday and the power went out.
That's never good.
I thought my generator. I heard it like vibrating, and I was like, "Oh snap!" I was like, "Oh no!" And then when it came back on like a minute later, but I had to wait for my internet to reboot. But yeah, before I cut out, I was just talking like, we're gonna probably get the full smorgasbord of Philadelphia sports. So I thought, no one mentioned the Eagles. I thought I'd just bring up the Eagles right now. So yeah, like this is it's a bit of a quiet time at the moment. It's like the calm before the storm. The draft's in a month, but I thought today was interesting at the owners' meetings. Harry Roseman was there, and I thought he gave the spin. I don't know what you guys have been bringing up with the Eagles so far. Like, I don't know, like what are your takes of what's happened the last couple weeks?
Mike and Chris hate CJ Gardner-Johnson.
I've turned on him.
I think I mean I'm not happy to see him go, but I understand taking the more money for this year. I don't know what else is going on. Lane Johnson, right? He got an extra year on his deal.
Pave the lane.
Yep. What else? What else is going on?
I mean, my number one priority, I thought going in was Gardner Johnson, locking him up. That obviously didn't happen. They extend Slay, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise, considering by all accounts he was going to get cut. Right, so it was very weird. All season. The one thing that hasn't happened yet that I'm really surprised about is the Jalen Hurts extension.
Well, they just said they're working on, like, that's us. They want that in place. Like, that's their next thing that they're working towards.
Yeah, I just saw today that Justin Herbert and the Chargers and Joe Burrow and the Bengals they're working on their extension. So if this is going to hit, it's going to be like a domino effect. Once one guy signs, then the next guy's going to sign, then the next guy's going to sign. I'm not worried about a Hurts extension. I mean, I think Howie's more concerned about getting him locked up and then managing the cap from there, because that's going to be the biggest marker on your cap is going to be what you're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts, and rightfully so. He's the most important player on the team. I've seen some people say Lane Johnson's the most important player on the team. He's definitely like top 3 or top 2 important on the team, but it's a quarterback-driven league, and it's important to get Jalen Hurts locked up long term, especially now that with this new influx of quarterbacks coming in. I mean, we might be seeing quarterbacks making $60 million a year. Like, what's Trevor Lawrence going to get if he takes the Jaguars to the Super Bowl the next couple seasons?
Well, John, as an Eagles fan, do you want Hurts to set the market, or are you waiting for Burrow and Herbert to set the market? Like, what do you think's going to be best for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mean, ideally, Hurts to sign first, because that means that the other guys would probably want more. I mean,
so they probably deserve more, right? I mean, Hurts had a great last year, but Burrow and Herbert year after year at least put the passing numbers up. I'm not trying to say as a player, but as a passer, as a quarterback passer.
Well, see, Chris, that's what's unique about Jalen Hurts is that he does 2 things very well, and he can create plays on his own, whereas Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, if a guy doesn't get open, if we look at Joe Burrow, if a guy doesn't get open for him, he gets the snot kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Guy's gotten sacked a lot in his first few years. Justin Herbert, I want to say he doesn't have anyone to throw to, but I would say of all these elite,
they're never healthy.
Yeah,
they're not on the field for him, right? Exactly. And
right.
Like Mike Williams is a good receiver, but like he's not AJ Brown, he's not Jamar Chase, he's not CeeDee Lamb. He's I'm not trying to say he sucks, but it's like
he's not a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, like if the Chargers went out and got Hopkins, then everyone would be hyping up the Chargers again, thinking, "Oh my God, Justin Herbert finally has a true number 1 receiver." But
I think Keenan Allen is a legit number 1 guy. It's just what's that?
They're cutting him.
No, I know. I'm saying the last few seasons, I think Keenan Allen is definitely a number 1 guy, a legitimate threat. But again, he hasn't been able to stay healthy his last couple of years. I'm not talking about going into this year. I'm just saying years past that he hasn't been able to stay on the field either.
Yeah, it's like I think with the Chargers, it's like they're like cursed. They're just a cursed franchise. Yeah. All their best players, like literally, just all get hurt. Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Justin Herbert was hurt this season too. He broke his ribs. Rashawn Slater got hurt. It is what it is. But back to the Eagles, though, I do think that if they people, I joked about it on my Twitter. I joked saying how he went dumpster diving, dollar store binging on free agents. The highest paid guy the Eagles brought in free agency was, I believe, was Terrell Edmonds at $2.5 million, and he has almost 0 guarantees. So he could theoretically not even make the team.
Did you hear Rashad Penny is going to make technically less than Boston Scott? Boston Scott has more guaranteed money than Rashad Penny does.
Can I just throw something out here, guys, because you guys are all on Twitter. What do you think of people that tweet, or I think people that honestly are like competitors, but we're saying like Rashad Penny could be an elite running back if he stays healthy for the Eagles. And then underneath the tweet, they would write, "Oh, he's only guaranteed $500,000, so they can cut him in training camp and not owe him any money." Like you just said, he's going to be like the best running back in the league, and now you're saying, "Oh, it's cool because we can just fire him." That's like, could you imagine hiring somebody at your job saying, "Hey, this guy could be really good, but if we fire him next week, it's not going to affect us at all."
Capitalism.
Like what are you? What?
Well, I think the idea, and I said this.
I'm not saying Eagles are going to draft Bijan Robinson the first time. I'd be surprised if they did that. but I wouldn't be surprised if they take a running back in day 2, especially if they trade back and grab extra picks.
I said that a few weeks ago that I think they could a day 2 or day 3 get a day 3 running back, and Penny could be the guy that probably gets most of the carries because remember 2-3 years ago Jordan Howard averaged 5 yards a carry and looked like he was unstoppable behind this offensive line. Granted, this offensive line's 2 years older, 3 years older than it was then, but not that they could just plug any guy in. But I think Penny averaged like what was it, close to 6 yards a carry last year when he did play. So it's just a matter of being able to play, being on the field. Your best ability is your availability.
Well,
and he's one of those guys.
They gave him Dom $10,000 roster bonus every week.
Yeah,
That's just incentive for him not to get hurt.
But that's why he didn't get a lot of money because he in his career he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
When the Eagles signed him,
he's a
I
nice
thought he
running
was a
back.
defensive tackle. When they showed pictures of him, like he looked like he might have put on weight. And I was like, I don't know.
That's another reason
he needs to get back in shape. But like, dude, if you're like oh, he's so big at 250. Yeah, he's an injury prone 250-pound running back. Dude, that's not good. Like, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not saying he blows. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm just gonna if he's the starting running back, then that kind of tells me that what they think of Kenny Gainwell. And like, we know Boston Scott's a very good third down, change of pace guy who comes in for 5 to 7 carries a game, kills the Giants. So I think they're probably going to draft another running back because they like to carry 4 running backs. And they picked up Trey Sermon last year. He barely played. Kennedy Brooks, I believe, was an undrafted free agent from Oklahoma. I don't know if he can play. I don't think they should bank on him either. I know like Miles Sanders got a good contract, and I don't know about you guys. Like, I thought Miles Sanders was a solid player for the Eagles, but I could also understand them not wanting to pay him $6.5 million a year with their cap issues.
Yeah, well, that's the best he's looked in his career with the Eagles last year on a contract year. So those things tend to get a little iffy long term, where you pay a guy when he's the best you've ever seen him. You know what I mean?
You know who's still out there that hasn't been signed yet? Kareem Hunt. The longer that the market,
I would not be surprised if Kareem Hunt winds up back in Kansas City.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like
hot take.
No one's went after him. I think his incident has happened so long ago that, I don't want to bring up morality on here, but I also feel like Andy, if you look at some of the guys Andy Reid's brought in, like Frank Clark has had a domestic violence in his past. Andy Reid didn't care then.
Take it back to the Eagles when he was here. Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Like, I think Andy Reid just wants to win Super Bowls. And I don't think, the league doesn't, if the league doesn't care, then if you're Kansas City, like, why should they care? That's their thought process, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, that's how they think. I don't see Kareem Hunt going back to the Browns. I think I would be very surprised if that happened.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Actually, another team I think that would bring in Kareem Hunt would be the Dallas Cowboys.
I think that would actually make sense for them.
Yeah, he can power back. He could catch out of the backfield. He'd be a nice compliment to Pollard, like that.
Yeah.
That flash. Let me ask
you guys. Before I roll, because I know we got somebody else coming on, right? I got someone coming on.
Yep. Yeah, about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, real quick. So we found this out yesterday. The Titans are apparently looking to blow their team up. So the one guy that's been mentioned, he's probably arguably the player that would get the most in a trade. I'm not going to say he's their best player, but defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons.
Love him. I love him.
I would be shocked if the owner of the Titans would let the Eagles rip them off again. If I was like the new GM, like probably because that's why the old GM got fired, right?
Yep.
Right? You know, like why would you want to recreate the same error your predecessor made that got them fired? Because
Yeah.
if Jeffrey Simmons goes to the Eagles and then the Eagles are like winning a bunch of games again, then like what are you gonna do? Like I don't know. Like what are you guys' thoughts on that? Would you trade the 10th overall pick for Jeffrey Simmons, or would you rather?
I think it depends on what happens in the first 9 picks. If Jalen Carter's there at 10, I think you pick Jalen Carter.
I agree with that.
See,
If
I
he
think
falls.
the Titans would call the Eagles for that pick and basically trade Jalen Carter for Jeffrey Simmons. Hey, we'll take Jalen Carter because we're going to pay him way less, but Jeffrey Simmons is the more proven product. I mean, here's the thing with Jalen Carter.
I'm taking Carter.
Legal issue aside, he completely bombed his pro day.
Yeah.
Like he didn't run the 40 time, didn't do the shuttle, didn't bench press, and was doing his positional drills halfway through. He had to stop because he was so out of shape.
Yeah.
Like
there's questions there for sure.
That scares me if I was a team because listen, I think I'm not trying to get too in depth. I think there's definitely some trauma from that incident that happened with the car crash. I think when that got revealed, I mean, dude, that would scare the crap out of me. I would be torn up about that. That would mess me up. But then again, like, I feel like his Jalen Carter's career is going to depend on which team's going to draft him. I think if he goes to the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys, that could totally mess him up. I think if he goes to a more stable team, well, maybe the Cowboys would be okay. But like, if you got drafted by like the Browns, we'll just say the Browns, right?
Or the Texans. Yeah.
Or the Texans, they're gonna screw him up. They're gonna screw it up for him, right?
Yep.
Or I think if you're like with the Eagles, you might think to yourself, okay, like the Eagles could probably like get him back on track, and he could be a really good player.
You have not only a player's head coach, but you have Fletcher Cox, you have Brandon Graham, you have the other guys on the defensive line that could teach him how to be a pro, teach him how to, how to do this thing.
Yep, exactly.
I would be shocked if Jalen Carter's at 10. I don't know, it's weird. If he falls to 10, then there's a massive red flag that he might fall out of the first round. I think I know Laramie Tunsil went like 13th, but like I don't know. This is different than a guy smoking a bong video right before the draft. This is a guy who had probably the worst ever pre-draft I've ever seen.
Yeah,
heading into the draft. I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a private workout right before the draft to like boost his stock back up. He should do that. He's not the first guy to have that happen to, like where he just bombed his pro day. Then he hosted like a private workout for teams to show up at. But I mean, we'll see. But I think that's all the time we have with.
Yeah. I hate to do this. Hate to kick you off. We'll invite you back anytime you want, and we'll kind of do a little more.
Yeah, maybe around the draft. Like maybe around the draft. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely have.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Come
I would
back
love
on.
that, guys. And I think I'll obviously Michael. I joke we call him the star of the show, but Michael and I would love to come on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely make it happen.
But you got to hook us up with some of the SeatGeek and Manscaped swag, though.
Absolutely, we'll figure something out. We'll hook you up.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. See you, John.
You got it. No problem.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, one after another. Guy we're very familiar with. Don from Drunk on Broad. Is it just you joining us tonight?
Listen, I sent the link out to everybody, but Rich, it's a shot in the dark. I heard back from Rich. Rich said he might be back from the vet. They got animals galore over there.
Oh,
so,
no.
I'm gonna hold it down for right now. If anybody else pops on, we'll pop them in. But
that's
fine. Congratulations, man! 100 episodes is something super cool. Glad to be along for this ride.
We absolutely don't get to 100 episodes without you, because 100%. I remember early on, just becoming friends with you guys on Twitter, and just kind of building a relationship, and just kind of inviting us on your show, you coming on our show. Like, it kind of just, the support really pushes us forward, I think.
It does, because we're all trying to get to the same place, right? We're all kind of in the same place, right? We all got We're a bunch of dudes that like to talk sports that are sitting in like a spare room in their house. Let's just call it what it is. Like Mike's got like what looks like the professional studio with the mic arm hanging down, right? But like, good Lord, like and it's just fun, right? So it's just to take it for what it is and just have a ton of fun with it. And listen, the feelings are mutual, right? You got
Jason makes an appearance. What's going on, Jay?
What's going on, Jay?
What's up, guys?
I was gonna say he's in the comments, but he's not here.
Well, I figured Don just called me out, so I figured I'd definitely.
I did.
I don't want to disappoint anybody. You know me. My computer is shot though, so I'm on my phone. It's kind of terrible.
It's fine.
It's all right, dude.
It can't be any worse than Dom's technology.
Oh, here we go.
Totally gone. I need a whole new laptop. I gotta go.
Oh no.
What's that? What's the Best Buy thing called?
The Geek Squad.
Geek Squad. I gotta go there. I saw you had SeatGeek as your thing, and I'm thinking, I for some reason I thought it was.
The Geek.
Maybe they can hook me up, but no.
Oh god. Dom, you got all your internet, all your internets. You got to get your internet and stuff, all that stuff figured out before the baby comes.
Listen, I don't know about that, but listen, we haven't had many issues when hitting record. All the issues the last maybe 2 months have been 5 minutes before. So
Dude,
we've been able to figure it out.
5 minutes before the night. 5 minutes before the night, he sends a text out being, shit, I can't get my headphones
it wasn't
to connect."
5. It was 11 minutes. It was 11 minutes before
Close
the
enough.
show. That's first off.
So,
Dom, the amount
for
of times I've heard you
13
have to run for an extra charger.
Yeah. Listen, for 13 straight weeks, my headphones worked perfectly fine with this computer. And all of a sudden it said, 100 episodes? We're definitely not going to work now.
You guys should have a new segment called the 2-minute warning, and have Don go in and out.
Yeah. Damn, I'm just getting it from all angles, huh?
Oh, Don. You know I love you, bro.
It's all love, dude. So
That's
listen,
good.
I heard you talk. You had
My phone's still on 56%, by the way.
Let's go. I heard you guys. You were talking to Little Birds, right? Just to kind of piggyback on that. One, I'm not trading 10, but I would trade 30.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe it's just me. The thought of Bijan Robinson on this offense has me. I think I wouldn't take him at 10. Go ahead, Mike.
No, so I was gonna say, I think the perfect draft is if Jalen Carter falls you at 10, that would be ideal. I don't think it'll happen, but if that happens, I would take him at 10 or a Gonzalez.
Gonzalez won't be there at 10.
You don't think either of those?
I
You don't think so?
He's the top corner, I think.
Okay. But I again, Carter at 10 would be ideal for me, and then from 30, I think you move up to draft the Robinson. You get those two guys in the first round. I think that'd be a perfect first round.
I like it either way. I think they're going to move one of those two picks, right? They're either going to slide back from 10 into that teens, maybe pick up a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, one of those, or right if they can really if you get Howie to really swindle somebody, right? Maybe you pick up a number one for next year, right? You start parlaying like that. I mean, not for nothing, but like they continually just like. They push these picks like year after year, and at some point you're going to cash in on it. But if you can push back into that late teen, early, and Bijan Robinson is still there, then I think the value for him is much greater, considering you're going to put him behind this offensive line with this quarterback running this offense with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert,
I don't know.
I think at that point you just outscore everybody.
I don't know. I'm definitely in the minority. I don't know. Like, it doesn't really excite me that much, Robinson. Like, I don't know. Maybe because look at guys like Saquon Barkley, any of the guys that have been, kind of like top running backs, top high first round picks.
Yeah, but we're talking
Ezekiel Elliott.
Saquon's the second pick. Zeke's the fourth pick. You're talking like 15, 16.
So
and Saquon also doesn't have a Jalen Hurts, doesn't have an AJ Brown, doesn't have a Devontae Smith.
So can I let me ask you a question?
Well,
Don.
I didn't wait. Can I before you guys go on? Let me finish my point. So my thing is the
Hold
money.
on, what I do? Sorry, Jay.
My thing is what I don't know. I just don't think you need a top running back like that to win in this offense. Like I said a few years ago, Jordan Howard looked like one of the best running backs in the league, running behind this offense. I just don't think Miles Sanders is nowhere near a top 5 or 10 running back in the league. He rushed for 1,000 yards. I just don't think you need to go out and say, you know what, my first pick I'm gonna spend on Robinson, and then in 4 years he's beat up. He's
but in those 4 years, do you win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, but Sanders was beat up this year too. He played through it, but still, he's been beat up his whole career. I mean, it's just the nature of the position. I understand that, but I'm not saying I'm totally against it. I just don't know if I'm using a first round pick on a running back that I think in 4 years is going to be probably just like Ezekiel Elliott.
Let Jason
just
finish his point.
like Saquon and Barkley. Well, I had to finish my point.
All right, so no, and Dom, I'm getting the point, and I actually happen to agree with you. But here's the hypothetical: if Saquon Barkley was drafted with the 17th,
Look, it's a Three Stooges. Here we go. Rich is in.
Let's go.
Your kids are benched from T-ball, baby. They're not cracking the starting lineup. I'm playing with 3 kids. That's
Fair
it.
enough.
What's up, boys?
What's going on, brother?
Sorry, Jason.
What's
Finish
up?
your point.
no,
What's
it's
up?
okay. So real quick, if I want Rich to be able to get his 2-piece, but if the Giants drafted Saquon Barkley at the 19th pick in the draft, would anybody be bitching and saying they were stupid and they made a huge mistake? No. It's because they took him with the 2nd pick. Now, if
I don't want a
we're not
first round pick at
but
all.
Dom,
That's
but
what I'm
Dom,
saying.
We're not talking about the Eagles taking Bijan Robinson with the 10th pick. We're talking about them trading the 2nd pick up into the teens or maybe late teens and drafting him.
Now,
That's
I
the-
personally
Bijan
would rather.
Robinson is the top 2
Okay.
player in the draft.
I don't know, man. I understand that he's a great player. I just don't see myself using a first round pick on a running back. I just don't. That's just me. He doesn't excite me that much. That's all.
Bro, you put Bijan Robinson in this offense, that offense goes nuts. That offense goes.
I'm not saying it won't. I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm just saying I just don't want to spend $1 million in 4 years on a running back. I just don't.
They let him
Dom,
walk.
You're
But that's
talking
cheap,
about
That's
that's
cheap.
cheap, right? You
Look
get
at what
5
Where is
years.
it?
McCaffrey just got. Look what Zeke's huge deal was. That was a letdown.
They're all dead. They all are never healthy.
Exactly.
Dom,
And they
that's my point.
That's what I'm saying. You got this guy. For
Why would you
cheap
draft a
cash.
guy that's never healthy in the first round?
To win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To
You
win
got
a
Dom,
If he's not healthy, how are you winning a Super Bowl?
You got to
Yeah,
look at
because
the
Christian.
draft.
Yeah, wait, hold on. How many Super Bowls does Christian McCaffrey have? How many Super Bowls does Ezekiel Elliott have? How many Super Bowls does Saquon Barkley have? Go ahead. They're all always injured. How many?
None.
Yeah. And you're talking about
Well,
an Eagles
with this
team that
offense,
is
though.
missing an elite running back. You give them an elite running back behind that line. Look what happens.
Jordan Howard looked like an elite running back 2 years ago. He averaged 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And now put Bijan Robinson behind that line.
What? Okay, but he's gonna have to stay healthy. That's what I'm saying. What do you
Who
mean?
cares?
And
They'll score 42 points a game. You
and
won't
losing
be
the
able to
Super
stop
Bowl
that
then.
offense.
What, he can't play? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a bad talent. I'm just saying he doesn't excite me in the first round like everybody else. He just doesn't. I just don't think. I think there's safety, cornerback, linebacker, defensive
Bro,
line, offensive line are
model
all
this-
way more important in the first round.
You
Best
model
player
the
of it should be
like you look at what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs didn't have any fucking playmakers on defense, and they fucking whooped us because we couldn't fucking stop them. You do
Yeah, because
this.
they drafted a guy in the 7th round that scored how many touchdowns in the
To be
playoffs?
fair, they also drafted was he first round pick? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or was he a second? He was,
That
either
was
way,
3 years ago. It was the last pick in the draft, and he
Yeah.
hasn't played much this year.
Right.
Yeah, he
Well, that's what
keeps losing time,
Because he's 5'8". Clyde Edwards-Helaire is 5'8",
Yep.
and he's not fast.
and that's
Or elusive.
but then he shouldn't have been a first round pick.
Dom.
That's a different issue. That's
Dom,
a different.
you-
Yeah.
I hear you saying you want a safety or a linebacker. We've seen Howie Roseman's track record when he drafts for need. It sucks.
Okay.
Go for best.
And they
player.
need a running back, right?
Can I be honest with you? I wouldn't be surprised
ahead.
if they draft. I would not be surprised if they draft a wide receiver in the first round. Don't put it
I
past
wouldn't either. But when's the last time they drafted a running back in the first round?
Keith Byers.
Thank you. I don't think I was alive.
As
I'm drafting best available, and if Robinson's there at 10, I'm saying fuck it. Let's ride.
But they don't do that either. Like that's like everybody's expecting
Yeah.
them to do. I was at the draft in Philly 5 years
That
ago,
white dude from
sitting
Iowa.
there saying, "What'd you say?"
We'll get that white dude from Iowa, the edge
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
Edge rusher.
in combine.
I sat at the draft live in Philly 5 years ago, or however long it was, saying Dalvin Cook hasn't stayed healthy, hasn't won shit in this league. You don't
you
need
can't
this
predicate
great running back to win a Super Bowl. You don't. The
didn't win
Chiefs just did it with three guys
They
that
didn't win
were
a Super
taken after
Bowl.
the fourth round.
Is it Dalvin Cook's fault they didn't win a Super Bowl?
Do they have Kirk
Yes, because he
Cousins?
can't stay healthy.
No, they have Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's
Bro,
a different
you
issue.
know, oh,
Jalen Hurts is not Kirk Cousins.
of course, a running back's not going to win you a Super Bowl. But I'm just saying.
Then why are we drafting Bijan Robinson to win us a Super Bowl? Somebody told you
Because you
just
have
said
everything else
we'll win the
down.
Super Bowl.
Dom, do you not have a franchise quarterback? Do you not have an elite wide
Absolutely.
receiver?
Absolutely.
Then why
You
not
get-
have an offense?
Because you have an elite quarterback and an elite wide receiver crew. You don't need a first-round pick running back to do this. You don't. I'm saying use your first-round pick somewhere else.
Yo, come over. I got a Lexapro from cousin.
Bro, I got some
Tom's gonna have it
Woo.
broke.
What do we got?
You see
we're
Dom
fired up here.
going up. He's just
That's right.
Exactly. Listen, unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to cut it a little short. We got to keep this thing rolling. All you guys got to come back and we can have a more long form chat. Because I think Dom's got a lot more to say.
I say we have a show at the draft.
Yeah,
Dom,
absolutely,
there you go.
absolutely.
That would be
I'm
cool.
And then when
I'm all
Bijan
for
Robinson doesn't go in the top 15.
fuck off, Dom.
You could say he told us so.
I told
That's
you
right.
so, guys. He only rushes for like 17 touchdowns his rookie year. No way.
All right, well, we'll see you guys. I
So did
appreciate
Saquon.
you guys hopping on.
Later.
Later, brothers.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Later.
All right, we will keep it moving along. Eric, Phillies writer, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey guys, good. How we doing?
What's up?
Fired
Good.
up.
Yeah, hopefully we can calm down. Dom down.
I
would
was
say,
gonna
yeah.
say I was gonna say I've never been more excited to change the topic in my life.
Hopefully,
Well,
hopefully the
I'm
Phillies will
shaking.
be a little
I'm
more
shaking.
calming than the Birds right now.
Yes, hopefully. I mean, I think it's going to be obviously a good season. But the one thing I did want to kind of talk about, the thing that happened over the last week, is the Reese Hoskins injury. Right, freak ACL. It's always a freak injury when those things happen. It seems like they're going to kind of have Derek Hall in that spot. But I think they do have options. How do you see that? What was that?
Luke Voigt.
Nah, I'm good on Luke.
I got a name I want to throw out there, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, Eric, what do you think they'll do if?
So
you know?
I do like the idea of giving Hall a chance. Obviously he has his struggles against lefties. It looks like in some of the spring training games I've been watching, though, they're trying to get him to face lefties a little bit more. So we'll see how he does there. Do I think he's necessarily a sure thing? Absolutely not. I think they do have to keep their options open. I've seen some of the other things being tossed around with putting Bohm over there, moving Sosa to third every now and then. I just feel like with that, number one, now you're stunting Bohm's growth at third. Is he a Gold Glove caliber third baseman? No, but he's made progress compared to where he was. And I also think by giving Sosa that spot at third all the time, like you lose all of his versatility that you have there. Like the whole point of having Edmundo Sosa is he can shuffle around pretty much anywhere there. And I think locking him in a position doesn't really do well for anyone there. There's definitely some other options. I'm not a big Luke Voigt guy. I will say that. I know he's a righty, but I think he's got some pretty bad reverse splits there against left-handed pitching. So we'll see. There's definitely some options out there. Can
I throw mine out there?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's hear yours.
All right. So he's a right-handed bat. He won the Gold Glove this past season. Christian Walker. I think it's a legit, and I think I'm okay with Derek Hall starting the season, but let's say in a month or two, if things are not, kind of panning out there, or even maybe by the deadline, like, and Christian Walker's having a nice season and Arizona's not, I think that could be an option.
Totally agree. I like Christian Walker a lot. Local guy, good defensive first baseman, which is a premium because you don't have that out there really. I think looking at numbers last year, Reese, believe it or not, in terms of like defensive runs saved, was actually like 5th or 8th or something like that in baseball, which I know is kind of an astounding number. But Christian Walker had numbers way better than that. And obviously the guy hits for pop. He's a right-handed bat, like you said. Only issue is I think he's going to be expensive. I think the Diamondbacks are trying to prepare to be a little competitive here. And so I think he's going to be a little bit more pricey. Another name I've seen thrown out there is CJ Cron out of Colorado, who, they're just trying to save money any way they can. So he would probably come a little bit cheaper, as we get close to the deadline. He's another guy who's got some pop. Defensively, not as strong as Walker, but still a potential option there.
Eric, with Naylor being over in Cleveland, is Josh Bell somebody that we could possibly be looking at?
That is an interesting one there. Actually, I don't think that would be. I don't think that'd be a bad move at all. I think it would just depend really on Cleveland's willingness to, what they're willing to part with and what it would take to get him. Because again, Cleveland is definitely in contention in that weak AL Central there. So
what was his contract going into this year? Josh Bell, because he just signed that this offseason.
I am almost positive I think he's a free agent next year.
Okay, it was a 1-year deal.
I think it was a 1-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Okay,
I might want to double check on that, but I'm almost positive it was a 1-year deal. So he could
it was
a
2-year deal with an opt out after the first year.
That's right, an opt out. That's right. There was the opt out. Yeah, I knew there was a chance he could be a free agent going into next year. To me, though, I think with Bell, obviously now that Reese is gone for this season, Bell wouldn't be a bad option there. I think
he's a switch hitter.
Kind of, exactly, which is nice, definitely nice. I think defensively they're a little bit comparable. I don't know if he's much of an upgrade there, but again, to me, defensive first base shouldn't be really the first thing we're looking at here. We got to replace those power numbers. And hopefully, it's one of those things where, we can look at outside options, but I'm really hoping internally, I like Hall. I really want him to do well. We just got to see it first. So,
yeah, I think I do agree. Had to have a more patient approach closer to the deadline, see how it plays out, because they do have options. Hall's going to take a bulk of it, but you could, like you were saying, move Bohm the first here or there, kind of spot start here or there. So it's at third, and then when you want JT to have some breaks behind the plate, throw him at first, and Stubbs, can catch. So there's a ton of versatility in the lineup. I guess it's a good thing they're deep though, right? So
that's exactly it. I mean, really look in this lineup, especially adding Turner. I mean, and then Harper being out too. It's like you still look at the lineup, and I think today's lineup of the spring training game was a pretty good idea of what something we could see going into the year, and that's still a damn good lineup, even without Harper, without Hoskins. Obviously a lot of it hinges on what Castellanos does. If he can, kind of get some of those power numbers back. Bohm's looking like maybe power numbers are going to improve a little bit. So I think there's still a lot of chances there. And I don't necessarily want to overpay for anyone just yet. I'd rather, kind of wait and see. And we saw how they started out last year, right? I mean, you don't necessarily lose a season in April or May, but obviously getting off to a slow start will be a little bit concerning, but
yeah, switching gears a little bit. We only got a few minutes left here. Mm-hmm. Or what time do we got till 9:50? Oh, we got about 10 minutes. So we're good. Switching gears a little bit. Were you surprised Scott Kingery didn't make this team? We talked about him a little bit last week. Were you surprised that he kind of is going to getting sent down?
I guess a little bit because the way he did perform. It's weird. I just never felt like they were super serious about him making the team right out of spring training. I think they want to kind of see a little bit. But he's in that last year, that contract that he signed. So he's making a ton of money for not even really being on the 40-man roster right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Guthrie struggles a little bit or if there's another injury somewhere. I mean, the thing about Kingery is he's versatile. He can play a lot of different positions. He is a right-handed bat, and he's making that money. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him if he continues playing well in AAA, maybe make an appearance at some point.
Now I haven't watched much of spring training lately, like about the past week or so. From things that I'm seeing is Kingery specifically has been struggling to hit more of the decent pitching, I guess, that he's facing. So I do agree with that. I do think they want to send him down for a little bit to kind of just see, kind of get him in a rhythm, I guess. And if they really need him, they can bring him up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, he's there. So, but he's not making the roster over Cave. Jake Caves looked really good.
Right.
I think they just like Guthrie in the fact that he has more experience over center field. He's probably going to be a bottom of the order guy. You're not really getting him for offense, but he can spell Marsh if he needs a break or something like that. So,
well, yeah, I guess that was going to be my question. Is aside from the starting 9, who now that Cody Clemens goes down, what does the bench look like? Sosa,
Harrison.
Yeah,
Harrison made it. Guthrie made it. Who are we missing here?
Jake Cave.
Jake Cave.
Stubbs.
And Stubbs, yeah. So that's
okay.
That's basically what we're looking at. That. And I think that's pretty fair. I think really, if you go back the last couple of weeks, I really think the only toss up. Well, obviously Hall. Once Hoskins went down, now Hall obviously was going to make the team. But I think the only toss up was it going to be Guthrie? Was it going to be Kingery? What were they going to kind of look at for that backup center field position there? Because I know they were trying Sosa there, but again, he's never really played a meaningful game there, so I don't know if they want to rush into that right away. But
it's the Phillies special. It's a guy that came up as a shortstop, and we'll throw him in center field, or a guy that came up as a second baseman, we'll just throw him in center field.
Fly him anywhere.
Eric, good news or bad news? Aaron Nola does not want to talk extension until the end of the season.
So I think, for the Phillies, I think bad news because now we're going to be in a bidding war. Obviously Ohtani's they're going to be the top name free agent next year, but how many suitors are there really going to be for him? So I think there's going to be a long list of teams knocking on Nola's door if he pitches anywhere near what he's pitched the last couple of years here. So I think his price goes up a lot, assuming he's pitched pretty consistently now for the last few years. So I think he's going to be a hot commodity on the market. But I also think from a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, he'd kind of be dumb not to see what he could get there. I still think the Phillies have a shot at getting him. Obviously, I was hoping we could have gotten him locked up so we don't have to worry about that bidding war. But I know Nola, just like Hoskins, I feel like has gotten a lot of bad rep at different times. I know in years past he's kind of choked down the stretch. Last year he had a couple bad playoff games, but really, I mean, he pitched well in a few playoff games. He pitched well in that clinching game in Houston. So he's got the stuff. And looking at his numbers, he's a workhorse. I mean, 200 innings or plus last year. The strikeouts. I think he had one of the lower whips in all of baseball last year. So I think it's bad news we didn't get him, but I'm not closing the door, and I don't think he is either. So.
Can I ask another question, Mike? You got
Yeah, no, go for it.
All right. True or false to any of these questions, okay? The MVP of the National League will be on the Phillies.
From a homer standpoint, I'm going to say true. I think Trey. I saw today that Trey Turner is some people's picks right now. So I think there's definitely a chance. I'm going to say true. Let's go true.
I think he had like the third or fourth best odds to win MVP.
Yeah, I think it was definitely up there. Yeah.
I've been looking the last couple of days.
Andrew Painter will pitch meaningful baseball this year.
I think true. I really don't want them to rush him back. But from what Dombrowski said a couple weeks ago, it sounds like as of now they still have visions of him contributing. I also think him missing this time I don't want to say it's a blessing in disguise because obviously you don't want to ever see one of your young prospects injured, but it's basically like a built-in innings limiter at this point because I know that was kind of one of the big topics. So now he's not really going to be ramping it up realistically to June or July probably. So that's already going to be so many innings cut off of his arm where I really think we could see him pitching down the stretch, and we don't have to see a Steven Strasburg type thing in Washington where they have to basically shut him down if we make it to the playoffs and all that. So I think there's a chance we see him.
Last one. The Phillies will finish in first in the NL East.
As much as I want to say true, I'm going to go false on this one. I think it's Atlanta. I think we have a chance to finish second, though. But I don't know. Atlanta just scares me still.
Yeah.
We have a famous saying on here: the Mets will Met. So
yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
They started metting before the season even started.
They're already well into it. So
Mid-season form, as
yeah.
said. Trey Turner, by the way, 5th MVP odds,
Okay.
plus 1,100.
I think on BetMGM he was 4th at like +9.
Okay, well, go to FanDuel because
who's the top option?
I have a lot of issues with
that
FanDuel.
was Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. Okay.
Yep, Juan Soto, Mookie Betts, Acuna, Tatis, and then Turner.
Okay.
Damn,
Isn't Tatis gonna miss time?
Oh my god.
He's the first 3 weeks. I think Tatis is out.
Yeah.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. So.
Did you guys hear Larry Bow is very optimistic on Bryce Harper coming back earlier than expected?
Yeah, well, they didn't put him on the 60-day injury
I know.
list, which kind of says he will be back before May. What is it, 29th, I think is the date?
29th, yeah.
Yeah. His body's just built different.
I was gonna say, he's built a lot different, but especially a lot different than me. But I got an injury in softball last May, so I may never play again.
I had to hear about it for 3 months.
You're still recovering, Don?
I can't even bowl anymore, let alone play softball. The season's coming up. I got to get ready.
Yeah. But no, I think Harper definitely could be back earlier. Again, I don't like rushing anyone back. So let him come back on his own. But obviously, the quicker he gets back, better that is for the Phils. So
I also don't think they send him down to Clearwater if he didn't have to be there. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they would say, you know what, get on a plane and go down there if he wasn't ahead of schedule. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. I guess we'll see what happens. I think the way he's healing, I'm targeting sometime, hopefully like middle of June or so. I don't want him to come back as early as possible unless everyone says he's 100% ready to go. But yeah, I think middle of June would be ideal, early enough. But if we get late June, early July before the All-Star break, take that too.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, we'll definitely do it again. We'll have you on.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Definitely during the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thursday can't get here soon enough. So
yeah, absolutely. That is true. Yep, right around the corner. So all right, we'll talk to you.
All right, guys. See ya. Thanks.
Later.
All right, moving right along here. It's a lot of work for me. I'm really stressed out. We're rapid fire right now. So let's go to our next guest, Mark. Mark, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Not much. It's great that this happened today because big news out of Flyerland. The thing we've all been kind of wondering or wishing or hoping for the past number of years, Dave Scott calling it quits, retiring. What do you think this means for the Flyers? First of all, I'll start with that.
I think for the Flyers, it's more now like having somebody in that position where they're going to be making decisions, better decisions in the front office hockey ops side of it than the previous regime did, and I think that's going to be the main focus for Hilferty in that role, taking over for Dave Scott, and I think like. For the most part, I put a tweet out today about this, but like the best thing I think the Flyers could use at this moment with their ownership or the governor of the team or in that role is, if you can be in that position and be heard but not seen. Kind of like you're in the background, and you're just trusting the hockey, the intelligent hockey people that you put in place to run the hockey upside. You're giving them the full reign without overreach to do their thing. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. I know a lot of people shit on Comcast and they're not perfect
Especially
by
me.
any means. Well, yeah, because your internet's always out. But
I
everybody
pay a
shits
lot
on
of money
Tom.
for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. But everybody shits on them as the ownership group. And the one thing I will say about Comcast is they're willing to spend the money, which is nice.
Yeah.
They're never gonna cry poor. They're always
Well,
willing to spend the money.
neither did Snyder. Like Snyder always paid too.
No, totally. But Dave Scott, I guess his main job is to put the quote unquote hockey people in charge to do their job, and the people he's hired haven't done anything to build a successful team consistently. So it's just about Hilferty if he can do that.
But he didn't hire Bobby Clark and Paul Holmgren and people like that though, right? They were here. I'm not trying to argue your point. I agree with you. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm pretty sure he is the one that promoted Holmgren.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Dating back to what
He may have been. Yeah, and I mean like those guys are, their involvement is going to be under scrutiny over the next couple months as well. Clark, Holmgren, and Bill Barber, and we'll see how involved, if at all, they'll be in the next process. And it doesn't sound like they're going to make it through based on what's being reported. They'll kind of be moved into more kind of like ambassador roles rather than actually.
Sorry.
Nah, you had to get that in there. But who do you think will be the president of Hockey Ops? What candidates are you hearing?
There's been a number of like really interesting names out there. I know Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick have mentioned guys like Chris Pronger, Eric Lindros,
Ray Whitney, Shane Doan, or a couple others.
Yeah, Shane Doan and Ray Whitney. I've heard people mention Ray Shiro. Goes back to that. He's never worked for the Flyers, but he has obviously longstanding ties with the organization, with his father being the coach.
The one interesting name I heard, and I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm intrigued. Robert Esch.
Yeah. I believe he's the president of Hockey Ops for the Utica Comets right now. I think is the team. So he has experience doing it, and that could be interesting too. Whereas like those guys have like Flyers ties, but they're not of that. Like they're not of the I think what
they're not legends.
They're not like the older legends, network of guys. So
right, they played when the game was fast, right?
Yeah,
they know what it takes to get it done in this era, or as close to this era of hockey as you could get.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be a good thing, I think, for whatever role Briere is going to be in moving forward, which it looks like he'll be the general manager. That he understands today's player, today's game, because he played not that long ago, and that'll be good. That'll be a good thing for the Flyers, I think.
Can I get a question in?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so this is going to be for, I guess, all of you guys, just because Flyers are obviously my 4 out of 4. Like they're my last one. So I've been thinking about this question for a while, and I posed it to a couple people. Okay, so bear with me on it. Okay. The reason the Flyers aren't where they are could be because of the fans. The fans cry so much about going back to how it used to be with the Broad Street bully hockey, but that doesn't work in today's hockey. The front office has been horrible, but are they trying to appease the fan base too much? It hasn't changed their thoughts in the past 40 to 50 years.
But I don't think anybody's trying to go back to the Broad Street bullies. I think
there's a section of the older fan base that I think says, "Oh, this team isn't tough enough. Get us."
But I don't think it's the vast majority. I think the vast majority just want to see winning team.
What happens every time they sign a bruiser? They sign Nick Delory. Oh, he's a Flyer. He plays the Flyer way. Like there's some truth to that. 100%.
Playing tough. No. Playing tough is different than I want to beat the shit out of everybody. I listen. 2 years ago, what was the problem with the Flyers? Is they didn't have a guy that could stand up, a guy or they didn't have anybody that could push a guy around. So what did they go? They go out and get Ristolainen, guys like that. I that's what I want to see. I want to see guys that could stick up for their teammates. I'm not looking for a guy to go out and beat the shit out of everybody. I just want toughness, but I want to be good too. Like I don't know if anybody under the age of 40 wants, people to get like beat up every 5 minutes. I think that's the misunderstanding. I just think people under 40 want to see them draft well, develop well, win hockey games. Like,
Yeah. I've thought about that question quite a bit. And I think with something that and it's something that's happened over the course of the, over the last 40 something years, is that I think what a lot of people's perception of what the Broad Street Bullies, the Flyers way is, it has a lot to do with that team was one of the they were the best hockey team in the world at the time. That team was they're beating the Red Army at the Spectrum. And that's the greatest, they were considered the best hockey team in the world. And that's one of those things where, my understanding of that era was always that they were the hardest working team that never got outworked. And they were led by the hardest working player in Bobby Clark, and one of the all-time great leaders. And there are elements of that could survive multiple generations and that'll help the team get back to prominence. But it's an interesting dynamic. I don't know so much that it's about the fighting part, although that's something that.
No, I just mean I guess I'm saying the front office is just trying to appease the fan base instead of calling a spade and saying, hey, we suck. I know they've come out and said that. I know Torts has said it this year, but hey, we're actually going to rebuild this whole thing, and we're going to suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, this admission this year is as good as it's gotten as far as that, in terms of transparency with, the fan base and the organization. I don't know how much more they can say to say, but I don't think. I think the main concern for people is that they're not going to tear it down to the studs. I mean, Briere was reluctant to also say that. I mean, he used the word rebuild in his press conference when he took the job, but he was also quick to say that rebuild doesn't mean fire sale. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how deep they're going to cut this summer, but it'll be interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, well, there are the obvious names like the Konechnys, the Provorovs, Kevin Hayes, but then you go down the lineup a little bit, and there are some positives to this season, believe it or not. Morgan Frost is turning into a player. Owen Tippett, a year ago, we thought the Drew trade was extremely underwhelming. They have a legit player in Owen Tippett. Another player I wanted to talk about was Tyson Forrester, come up 3 goals, 7 points, 8 games. He looks like a really good player to kind of build this team around. So the influx of young talent, while they're not superstars that we've been looking for, really good players that you could build around.
Yeah, and I think with them, that's kind of where I know people are upset. They feel oh, we're tanking the pick or whatever. It's not at this point in the season. It's really, for me, it's not so much about winning and losing, but how they win and lose and who's the catalyst in those games. And this recent stretch of strong play for the Flyers, it's been Tippett, it's been Frost. Joel Farabee's played better.
Yep.
These are all guys that are going to be here next year and beyond, hopefully. And they're going to be here to augment whoever, if the Flyers can find those stars, or unearth some of those gems in the draft. They'll be able to. Those guys will be able to augment those stars.
That kind of goes into the question that I had, talking about the future of the Flyers. What's your take on the Cutter Gauthier situation with possibly going back to college for another year?
Yeah, I think for Cutter, I mean, that seems like a good decision. I'm really excited to see him play for the Flyers. I would have loved to have seen him play, knowing that he was going to leave school and play, be on this team next year. I think because they're looking at a multi-year process, it's not terribly. It's not. Let him go back to college. Let him go back to NCAA for another year, dominate, and then and have that discussion again this time next year. And hopefully the Flyers as a group will be a little bit better, even if it's incrementally better than what they were this year, and have him ready to play maybe when the team's a little bit closer to crossing the bridge to whether it's the playoffs or maybe even better than that into full-blown contention, depending on how quickly this all comes together. But I think it sounds like he's been very good there at Boston, and I think he's Boston College, right? And
yeah.
So yeah, I think having him go back to another year, I mean, it's not going to hurt him, and
right.
And the Flyers are looking at a multi-year process anyway, so
yeah,
there's no need to rush him.
I was disappointed when I heard he was going back, but that was for selfish reasons. I just wanted to see him.
I was too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he has that. I mean, I've caught a little bit of him, some of his games, and I mean, he has that. Like, he has the type of game I think that can get like, he can get you off your seat a little bit with some of the things he can do with the heavy shot and things like that. He'll be an interesting piece though going forward. What exactly he's going to look like.
Yeah, it's a size mixed with skill, something that we just haven't seen.
Yeah.
The Flyers draft and hit on.
Yeah. So,
you get with him going back to college for another season. I mean, you get another season where he gets bigger and stronger. Where he he might struggle doing that up in the NHL. So I think it's good too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But back to the whole rebuild thing. This I know people are bummed that they're winning games, but that's not necessarily. And as bad as the roster was coming into the year, that's not necessarily what this season was about. Because you hired John Tortorella, it was about, like you said, finding ways to win and lose the right way, build a culture, and then worry about the results later.
Yeah, and that's I think John Tortorella's done a really nice job and has gotten this group. I was not. Admittedly, I was not he was not my first choice for this job, and I still, year one is gone, I think, as good as it could have gone in terms of what he's gotten out of the group, we've also found out, guys that may not be a part of the future planning, and that's also a part of it, I think that's he's taken them as far as they could go this year, but he's year one was a success, I think, with John Tortorella behind the bench for the Flyers.
Yeah, absolutely. But all right, well, I appreciate you joining us. It's all the time we have with you.
All right,
dude, I'm really digging the hat though.
That is, I do like the hat.
Yeah, I'm all ready for opening day, man. It's
a few days away.
Let's go.
Absolutely. So we'll catch up. We'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
All right. Okay.
All right, moving right along here. I'm exhausted. This is tiring. I've had a long day at work. Bring on 1/3 of she presses. She's double time. So we'll talk about her second show later. But Beer Batter Sports Podcast joining us now. Kylie, Isaac, 2/3 of the Beer Batter Sports Podcast. What's going on?
What's up, guys? All I'm gonna say is that I almost missed this show. I got stuck behind this incredibly slow construction worker driving some dump truck down the highway who kept merging into the same lanes that I was in, but I made it, so all good.
It's all that matters. You made it.
That's why they made the shoulder on the highway. Just use that as the extra lane.
Yeah, you're a NASCAR fan.
I'm not saying I've done it.
You can hit the gas.
Yeah. I don't know. It's different when it's pitch black and there's no street lights. It's a little hairy. So
makes it more entertaining.
Never stopped
me. Dom lives life on the edge.
Yeah.
So I did want to. The one thing I did want to talk to you guys about is so you are the only non-Philly centric show on the network.
is
I
true.
know obviously football is a big thing for you guys. The Lamar Jackson news that came out today.
Yes.
I do want to talk about that with you guys. One, it's kind of wild that it happened almost a month ago now, and nothing's happened since. And where do you guys speculate him going, or what do you think will happen?
I mean, you brought up. I mean, first off, the fact that it happened on March 2nd and we didn't know about it.
Yep.
That is just weird. We live in an age where sports media and sports journalism is so in depth and so constant that for something to slip through the cracks and not be reported on until now,
Yep,
it's unheard of. But I kind of saw it coming. The Ravens, to be honest, they've kind of disappointed Lamar. They've basically made it clear that they don't value Lamar as much as they should. And that's a shame because he's arguably the best quarterback they've ever had. I mean, the only other person you could really make an argument was like Steve McNair for 1 year and Joe Flacco for like 3 playoff games.
I was gonna say not even a year.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, by the way, just so we're clear, Joe Flacco is a very serviceable quarterback. It's just
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know what's going to happen with Lamar because I'm looking at all the teams that need quarterbacks right now. And I mean, I know the team that would love to get their hands on him is the Jets, but at the moment it looks like they're kind of set on getting Aaron Rodgers. That's already been dealt with. I know my Bucks would love to get him, but we already decided to go with Baker. So it shows
Good
what
luck.
direction we're. You know what? It could have been worse. There are so many other quarterbacks. I was convinced we were going to be stuck with Blaine Gabbert once Tom retired. This is why I have a backup team, but
yeah, we're not going to talk about your backup team.
yeah, don't worry, I won't. Well, I'm not going to bring it up. But I think.
What about Atlanta? I know they said they're not interested.
None of them are interested, and it makes no sense.
I think that's a game that they play to say they're not interested, though. I think Atlanta is as interested as they could get without like showing their hand, because their owner, who's it, Arthur Blank. Yeah, he seems like the type of guy that like he's not going to show you his hand until he's ready to show you his hand.
Yeah, he'd sell a couple Home Depot stores.
Yep.
To get Lamar Jackson.
I think it would be a good landing spot for him. Atlanta right now looks like they're going to ride with Desmond Ridder, but I don't think they're 100% confident in him yet. And don't get me wrong, Desmond Ridder, from what I've seen, he definitely needs time to develop. He's not at that level just yet. Again, he's only entering his second year, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons decide to just go all in on Lamar Jackson because I think he could work well with their setup. I'm trying to think of other teams.
What about New England or Washington?
Did you hear about New England today?
Yeah, Meek Mill.
Yeah, texting Robert Kraft.
Yeah, kills it.
That is just the craziest friend group. It's like Meek Mill, Robert Kraft, Michael Rubin. Like, what are these?
Little baby.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
James Harden. Yeah, it's nuts.
I don't know. That's crazy. New England would be an interesting landing spot. I think Washington might be better, and I know we're only saying that because one, we're DMV based, and two,
Washington is literally the best spot. For
our other co-host
Absolutely.
would love for number 8 to come to.
He's a big Lamar Jackson fan. Yeah.
Oh
I've
man,
heard him talk about
Calvin.
him. Absolutely. Yeah.
Calvin loves Lamar Jackson, so. It'd be fair. I think he would fit nice in Washington. Washington's one of those teams that I'm looking at this upcoming season, being like, this is make or break because they've got enough pieces that they're interesting. They're just missing that one thing. And last year, it's clear they don't have a really good quarterback. So that
they have new ownership now, right?
They're in the process of it.
Okay.
Dan Snyder is looking to sell the team, and I've said this before on our show, but I'll say it again: if they do sell, they have to move it back into DC. FedEx Field's a dump. They have the perfect spot. They just gotta, get the money to rebuild RFK Stadium 2, RFK 2, whatever you want to call it.
They're going to Virginia.
Spot. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but it's true.
It's like it's the same situation with the Bears trying to move to Arlington Heights. It's like that's not Chicago. That's a suburb. Or like when the Braves moved out of Atlanta to an hour north of the city. It's like. Those aren't your fans.
Yeah, it's like the New York Giants playing in New Jersey. Like
the Eagles are the only NFC East team that play in the city that they're
Dallas plays in Arlington.
And
Yeah.
the Giants though makes sense because if you've been to New York City, there is just no space there.
Yeah,
If you're
right.
going to play in New York City,
Yep.
you got to play outside of the city. It's the only way. And same thing with Dallas. I mean, Dallas, Texas, it's just so packed. Like Arlington really is the only option they've got. I mean, they can't if they want to, unless they want to play in the Cotton Bowl, but that's not happening.
I think I'm going to refer to them as the Arlington Cowboys going forward.
I like that. I can get behind that.
I can get
Whatever pisses them off more, I'm down for.
Speaking of the Cowboys, where do we think Zeke Elliott is going?
As long as it's not Philadelphia, I could not care less.
Hold on. I thought you were on the Zeke Elliott train, Kylie.
No, I have spent his whole career slandering him. I do not want him anywhere near my team.
I agree. I don't want him.
I don't even want him in Philadelphia. Like he's not even allowed to come to the city.
Well, the Jets.
Thank you.
The Jets said today, like, no, we're good with our running back room too. Like, we don't want it there.
Exactly.
I think that shows just how much his stock has fallen. Like a couple of years ago, you could still bring up his name if he was a free agent. Everyone would be like clawing the chest, like, give it to me. But now it's like the emergence of Tony Pollard really like just hurt Dak's stock. I mean, not Dak, Zeke. Zeke is like, everyone looks at Zeke now. It's just like, oh yeah, you were good for like 4 or 5 years, and now you're just kind of. It's a shame though, because
remember that time? Remember that time when he was breaking off 80-yard touchdown runs right up the middle?
I do. I do. Very pain.
He's 27 years old. Like it's crazy. He seems like he's like 30, 31, 32. It's only
remember in
27
the
years
NFL.
old.
In the NFL, every running back is 3 years older than their actual age because that position is the shortest lived of any position. Running backs do not last.
And everybody gives me shit for not wanting Bijan Robinson.
Thank you.
Oh, you should have heard.
Thank you.
You should have heard us about, I don't know, a half hour ago. Dom was losing his mind.
I was
about Bijan Robinson.
I was listening a little bit
it.
on the car before the Wi-Fi got a little iffy. I don't think I was driving through a dead zone, but you got that your running back argument. I caught a little bit of that. That was intense.
I was shaking. I was shaking.
That's like the one thing I missed. I've been watching it. That's like the one thing I missed. Yeah, no, I'm not wasting a pick at 10 for a running back.
Yeah, I think.
What about
changing this up real quick? Changing the subject.
What about 19?
What
about
if you trade up from 30 to like 19,
or you
20,
trade back to 19,
or you trade back to 19 from 10?
Trade back? Absolutely not. No chance.
I think they might trade up. Not for him. No, I'm serious. No, really. I think they could move up from 10.
Dom, how sick would you be if they trade up for Bijan Robinson?
Listen, dude. I'm not sitting here saying he's a bad player.
No.
I don't want to waste the first round pick. I just don't want to waste the first round pick on him when we have other needs. It's just
that's what I'm saying. Miles Sanders was a second round pick, and look what he did for us. Like, we don't need to waste a first round pick on a running back, but we have so many other needs.
This reminds me of the discourse back when the Bucks drafted a kicker in the second round. All of us Tampa fans.
Yeah,
this reminds me of exactly what
it was. A though, right?
Yeah, and he was terrible. This reminds me so much of that. All of us Bucks fans sitting around like, we don't need a kicker. What are we doing?
I will defend drafting a kicker in any round. Well, not any round, but in like drafting a kicker than I would defending drafting Bijan Robinson at 10.
Okay, fair enough.
Quick trivia question: there was a kicker taken in the first round. Does anybody know who it was?
It wasn't Seabass. I know.
It was Sebastian Janikowski. You were right.
That's an Isaac question.
Yeah, it was Janikowski. Oakland took him in like 2002 in the first round.
I could have sworn
that's
there
crazy.
Out of Florida.
I could have sworn there was another.
I'd rather take a kicker than Bijan.
Shut up! You're lying.
I'll move up for a kicker, and we already have one.
Real talk.
Okay, Dom.
Wouldn't he go? Yeah. Wouldn't he going for a punter in like around 7? Let's just. I'm fine with that.
The Eagles do need a punter.
They do exactly.
Yeah, we do. Trade for one. I don't know. Do something.
Matt Ariza, free agent.
Did he beat somebody? Isn't he like problematic?
He's facing something a lot worse than beating.
I thought
I don't remember exactly what he did, but he was in legal issues.
Let's just say if he gets convicted, he's going to jail for a while.
I thought
he played one preseason game.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
For him, I just thought nobody would touch him. I thought they dropped his charges.
Oh yeah, he won't be charged.
Did
Okay.
they?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
in December, he won't
I
be
think it was
charged.
sexual.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like sexual
Yeah.
misconduct. Or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, they dropped the charges. All right then, but again, I don't think anyone's gonna pick him. That's like
No.
that's kind of a stain on your record, man. So we'll see.
It's the punt god though out there.
Yeah. Why is it always the
Dude.
punters who are doing something wild? Every team's punter just has something weird about
They
them.
beat the shit. Like they just beat the shit out of everybody. I don't understand. The dude from the Giants, like 5 years ago, he
Brad
like
Wing.
beat the hell out of his wife, and then like a week later, he was hitting 40-yard bombs. Like I don't understand. These
Punters.
guys don't get in trouble either.
Can we get McAfee out of retirement? I'm cool with
I was
that.
just gonna say there's
Oh my
McAfee.
god. Yeah, yeah. What I was saying, punters are weird. McAfee.
Who's the
Yeah,
dude?
but McAfee's a legend.
Who's the dude that used to kick for Oakland?
Oh, what
King?
was his name?
Is this game? Is
Mark,
King?
Marcus King?
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
used
He had a
to
leg.
and he would start dancing after he kicked the punt in the air.
And then he got
had a
paid and
leg.
then just absolutely
Yeah.
sucked.
Yep.
I think he went to Denver, didn't he? Right after the Raiders.
Yeah, he's in the
He was
XFL
terrible.
now. Marquette King, right?
Marquette
Yeah.
King. I would say
Yeah.
Marquette King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's in the XFL now.
He is currently with the Arlington Renegades.
All
look,
right.
look, a Texas-based team in that area who knows their actual city.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Philly needs an XFL team.
Oh,
You
I
have
mean,
a USFL team.
We
You're
do.
fine.
And I don't think anybody watched that. Did
What are they
anybody
Nobody
watch
watch
watches
that?
it.
No.
I watched the very first game of the new USFL. Immediately was like, it's football in the spring. I don't like it. And have fun. I'm sorry. Football's a fall sport. I can't get into
Yep.
football in the spring. It's just weird. It
Yeah,
doesn't
spring's
feel
for
right.
baseball.
Spring is for baseball and clutch
Playoff
prime-
basketball and
playoff basketball,
playoff hockey.
Playoff hockey.
Yeah.
We only really got
NFL draft.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. Switching gears completely. Real quick, I'm going to trigger Kylie. MVP for the NBA. Where who do you guys
Embiid,
want?
I don't care. I don't.
Well, it's hard
care.
when he doesn't play. Him and Harden don't play tonight.
I know.
Jokic is
I'll have them in a
still
parlay.
overrated.
I said they give it to Giannis just so everyone's happy because no matter what.
Shut up.
No, Giannis.
Well, that's-
we won't like it because we're not
Right.
fans of the Bucks, but at the same time we'll respect it. With Jokic, everyone's just gonna throw a fit, but Giannis, yeah,
But-
it's like
It's amazing how, because I think all three players are great players. I think it's so funny when you name one of them, the other two fan bases just shit on the guy, and then when you name the other one, the other two just shit on the guy. Like I don't know. To me, there's just. I guess Embiid is the closest. I'm just not expecting him to win it. I just don't think there's a clear cut like there was last year. Like Embiid was the clear cut last year, and he just didn't get it. But yeah, they're really messing with me because I had a rough last couple of weeks with the NCAA tournament, and now I have the Sixers in a parlay tonight, and they're gonna ruin it because Harden and Embiid didn't play. But
Sorry, Don.
Sorry
Yeah.
to hear.
it's all right.
Mike,
Thanks,
I love
guys.
how you knew that it would trigger me.
I absolutely know it would trigger you. But Isaac, thank you for joining us. I guess Kylie,
Yes.
Thank
you
you.
could stick around, Kylie. I guess because you're pressing
Oh,
double time
thanks.
apparently. So we'll talk to you again, Isaac. Appreciate you coming on.
thank you guys for having me.
Later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, congrats on 100 episodes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna bring on another third of the Bell Smashers podcast, Jen.
What up,
Jen, how you doing?
everybody?
Hi, Jen.
What's up?
Congrats on 100 episodes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the thing I wanted to kind of start out with you guys is, so you guys are obviously fairly new in the podcasting space, the podcast itself, obviously. The one thing that it was interesting to me is kind of the rapid growth of the show. You guys, what are you, not even 20 episodes in yet, right? You guys have had on guests like Appel, Derek Hall, to name a few. Now Philly's first baseman, Derek Hall, that is.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So I'm curious. Talk a little bit about that and where you guys think that kind of came from, the success right out of the shoot.
I want Kylie to
Yeah.
go because really it was her vision. So I'm just part of the ride. But of course I'll add more, but I want her to start.
It's funny. I was gonna take it to you.
No,
Uh-oh.
because
But-
it was your idea. So
So, Mike, you know that I had been wanting to do a Phillies podcast for
Yep.
the longest time, and so once you guys started the network and Beer Battered joined up, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna try and see what happens. And I posted something on Twitter, and then everybody was like, oh, you got to get these two people on, and Haley and Jen. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I talked to both of them. They were both down, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was very organic, which is kind of how we've always been. Like the three of us already interacted with each other a lot on Twitter, Philly's Twitter specifically, and so it just made sense when Kylie was like, "So I have an idea for a Philly's podcast. I have the name. I have the logo.
It's a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
I agree. So,
Thank you.
And then we were like, oh wow, we're all three, women and like huge fans of the Phillies, and this is a gap that hasn't been filled yet. And I do think that is the reason for a lot of our growth.
I think you guys are going to take over the world. I'm not even kidding. Like I think you guys. No, I'm serious. No, genuinely. Like I, just from the immediate success and just watching your show, like listening to it. I don't get to watch much. I listen more and that's just with every podcast because I'm just always on the move. But I think you guys absolutely will take over the world one day. I'm not even saying can. I think you will. Absolutely.
Appreciate you, Dom.
That's big praise from Dom because he usually hates everybody.
I know.
True.
Well, he doesn't hate Bryce Harper. Mike hates Bryce Harper.
I don't.
Yes,
I do not hate,
and Nick Sirianni.
Here we go. I do not hate Bryce Harper or Nick Sirianni. Let's get that out of the way.
Hates them.
How could you hate Bryce?
I didn't hate Bryce. I said when he got signed,
And he's got him on his fantasy team.
I do.
You should trade me him.
I shouldn't. When he got signed, the whole pandering to Philly, the Philly media, it was a little far. It seemed a little phony and fake at the time. Now looking back, I think he just embraced the city more than he was pandering. But at the time, it seemed very pander-ish.
See, all right, can I tell you guys my argument for this?
Here we go.
Go ahead.
So, I think, all right, when he comes out his first game with the Fanatic cleats, sure, okay,
Water ice shirt, like.
Well, that's my argument is when he's in a batting cage and he's got water ice on his chest in the batting cage, and they say, "Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of that." That's not him.
He's Bryce Harper.
Him.
He knows he's gonna get pictures taken of him.
I can't have this argument.
You just hate him.
We've done this too much.
No, I don't hate him. I love
Mike
Bryce
fights.
Harper. I'm so happy that that's the guy they chose that year instead of Manny Machado. It could have
dude.
gone very wrong picking Manny Machado. I'm very happy with Bryce Harper.
I actually didn't want him to start out.
You don't want Bryce Harper?
No, so I
Okay.
didn't want either of them. I still don't want one of them. But so because yeah, right. Growing up in the DC area, I went to a lot of Nats games and everything, and then when Bryce Harper came to town, like it was all this, and Bryce Harper was kind of an asshole. So I was like, this dude is not gonna embrace Philly. He's not gonna go to any games. He's not gonna be like somebody who Philly would just put at the top of the pedestal and on a Mount Rushmore type thing. So I didn't want him because he wasn't going to be like that. They were going to pay him to be someone like that. And obviously I was wrong.
I wanted him.
Everybody wanted him.
I was gonna say opening day the year prior to him signing is when I won. That's when my campaign started.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh
Totally.
yeah. As soon as he went into that last year opening day with last year with the Nats, it was all Bryce Harper for me.
Bryce Harper watch, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when Hunter Strickland beat the crap out of him?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I rooted for that. Yes. Yeah.
Was that the time where Harper went to throw his helmet and
And just
completely
missed? Yeah, just
went
missed.
that way.
The problem is if that were to happen in Philly, I don't think Hunter Strickland's getting out of Philadelphia alive.
No.
Remember when he fought Papelbon too?
I was just going to say.
His own teammate, by the way.
Dugout.
Yeah.
Papelbon choked him out.
His own teammate.
Bryce did what everybody in Philadelphia wants to do: fight Papelbon.
I think Papelbon came out with like a story at the end of the season this past year, talking about it.
Yeah, I actually love Papelbon. I don't know why.
Nah.
Of course you do.
I just.
You want to hear a funny story about Papelbon?
Yeah, go
with
ahead.
me and Mike. So Mike.
where are we going with
okay.
this?
So Mike, I was in Mike's wedding, right? So Mike, as a gift, gave all the groomsmen tickets to the game, to the Phillies game. Remember when Papelbon came out and said those? I forget exactly what he said. He had like comments against the Philly fans or whatever. This is his first game since making those comments. He comes out.
He was still pitching then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was towards the end of his time here. So I told the guys, I said, I don't care how bad the Phillies are. We are staying until the end of the game because I need to boo the shit out of Papelbon. And they're like, oh, maybe. I'm like, you guys could go. I'm staying. Like, I'm going to boo the shit out of him. Thankfully, the Phillies, the ninth inning comes. They're winning the game. He comes out. And I've never been more proud to boo a guy in my life than when Papelbon ran from the bullpen to the mound. It was, and there were no fans there. Like, there were hardly any because they sucked, but.
2017-ish, give or take.
Yeah, yeah. So
2017. I think it's when I got married.
Or 2015, 16. No, it was when
2017.
Yeah.
No, you got married in 2017.
Okay, so maybe it's 2016.
Right, that's what I'm
Give or
saying.
take.
When
I
you
don't
got
know.
engaged.
My wife doesn't listen to this anyway. I'm good.
Do you know your anniversary? That's what matters.
I
Imagine.
do, yes.
Can you guys imagine doing 100 episodes with this guy? I mean,
it's tough. It gets real tough.
Hates Bryce Harper. Hates Nick Sirianni.
Loves Gardner Minshew for some reason.
Loves Gardner Minshew. It's crazy.
I loved
Gardner
Minshew
Minshew.
until this season.
Minshew mania, baby.
No, but Dom, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Were you at the Sixers Nets game and Ben Simmons' first original
No.
return game?
I was.
Okay.
I haven't
was
been to
too.
a Sixers game. I haven't been to a Sixers game since when Joel Embiid got hurt against Portland his rookie year, probably. Or no, I lied. Mike and I went to the Celtics game last year.
That's right. We
sat in
did.
the club.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So before that, I haven't been to a Sixers game since Embiid's rookie year when he got hurt in January.
I think
And Ben
I was with
Simmons
you
was
at that
supposed to.
game.
It was Ben Simmons. Yeah, you were. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was
with your brother.
another groom's. Yeah. So it was the game they played against Portland. Ben Simmons was supposed to make his rookie. It was he didn't play his rookie or his first year. He was supposed to come out in January 15th or 25th, whatever it was, and obviously he didn't play. But Embiid got hurt, and it was the first time the stadium was full, and you could hear a pin drop when Embiid got hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
I bet. So would you have booed louder at that game or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No.
Every time he touched the ball, Kylie, he could.
No, I went to the one where he wasn't playing.
Oh, I went to.
I spent $125 per ticket. It's for standing room only, all the way at the top.
Oh no!
Just to boo him and watch our team get blown out by 30 points. And have to
Have
watch
the turntables.
entire game.
Yeah. That's brutal.
I would do it all over again, though. I don't care. It was fun.
So let's kind of get into the Phillies a little bit too. Because I had a couple questions for you guys. What's the season look like? You guys think?
93 wins ish.
Okay.
My number's 92. But Kylie and I we're both pretty optimistic. However, that's realistic with this lineup. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Even without Reese, we have Hall, Sosa, we have guys ready to step up and produce as much as Reese did. And I mean, they've had the next man up mentality before, and while this one is a huge blow from personality wise, not even just as a player, but as a person, he's huge for the clubhouse. So losing him from a player in the clubhouse and just being a member, it's different. So I think even though with all that, we're still gonna be good. Doesn't concern me too much.
The interesting thing is, I think their win total in Vegas, I think, was set at 87.5 a few weeks ago. With Reese going down, it's at 88.5 now. So like even
Wow.
even the books don't think
Yeah.
they're really gonna miss a beat without him, it's weird. I thought it would have gone down
That's-
a couple wins.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
not surprised.
Ranger Suarez is out till what, May?
Yeah, give or take.
So I know
So,
that.
I mean, their pitching is very. Yeah, I mean, it's not very thin, but it's more thin than we would like, especially if the Wheelers and Nolas don't pitch like we know they can.
Right.
It's going to be a rough start to the season just because the injuries, but the All-Star break is going to, or the trade deadline, we're going to get everybody back. So, except for Reese. But.
Not Reese.
Yeah.
Except for Reese.
Well, speaking of the pitching, that's actually that kind of transitions to my next question. Obviously, this bullpen has been revamped from even last year. Going into last year, it was kind of revamped, and they revamped even more. What do you guys think about the bullpen? Some guys that you're excited for.
Well, I'm excited about the bullpen. I agree with you, Dom. I think it is upgraded from last year, and they re-signed Sir Anthony and Jose Alvarado, which is huge. So those were some really, really important offseason transactions that Dave made that I was excited about. And Kylie loves Craig Kimbrell, so
yes, I am huge on Kimbrell.
Listen, their bullpen additions can't be any worse than Familia. That's all I'll say.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's on the Oakland A's now because
Is he really? That makes
he
sense,
got cut by the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's.
Is Kimbrel going to be able to do his whole
Yeah, I was at spring training.
With
I was at spring training and he was doing it.
Okay.
It's just very quick. It's very quick now.
Yeah. I was
very
wondering
excited.
that too, though, because it takes a couple seconds.
Yeah.
I got a picture of it. It's real. It happened. I got it. I saw Gregory Soto too.
This is a sad question, but did we see Rhys Hoskins in his last game as a Philly?
I was about to ask that.
In the World Series.
Okay, I'll go while she's I was on the yes train, but then someone, I'm sorry, I don't remember who you were, on Twitter was like, maybe he'll sign like a 1-year like prove it deal.
I forget
And
what
I was like, okay, maybe, but
I think that's a possibility.
I do think it
love,
is. Yeah,
I love Reese though. Obviously, I want him to stay, but I know that other teams would love to have him as like their permanent DH and would pay a lot for it. So I'm not being like delusional.
Yeah, but the thing is, coming off that injury is anybody going to
Exactly.
give him a massive contract next year?
Well,
So
I
I could
usually-
definitely see him doing a 1-year deal.
A
I could
repaired
see him-
ACL, you're usually stronger coming off of it, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
but there's always
every
that
case
fear
is
of
different.
re-tearing. Yeah. But with he's a Boris client, so
Yeah, I was going to say that.
yeah, so that always concerns me. Yeah. So we're not even gonna know till like
Middle
next
of
year.
January.
Yeah, and all the rumors I'm not even gonna pay attention to just because it could be Boris leaking crap. So literally not even gonna listen to the rumors at that point.
Yeah. Before we let you two go, the last thing I do want to talk about is obviously Mark Appel being released. I know he obviously hits close to home. Exactly. With you guys had him on the show. You guys are big Mark Appel fans. I was a little surprised that they couldn't find a role for him at all.
Well, in AAA, I'm surprised they didn't have a role for him there.
Right.
I'm not surprised he didn't make the big league roster. He had to, be on top of his game, and his elbow was hurting, so that really hindered him pitching. And we all know he didn't have a fantastic spring training. So everything was stacked against him. I'm surprised they couldn't put him in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that they handled it as professionally as possible.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've read.
Yeah.
I also think I respect the Phillies more as an organization, though, because instead of just keeping him bogged down, hey, go try somewhere else. Maybe you can land somewhere else. Maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly. I actually told him to come to Baltimore or DC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he'll definitely land somewhere. I don't know if it'll be in the majors, but he'll pitch somewhere this year.
Yeah, I hope so. Because his elbow, he did say his elbow was hurting, so I don't know
Oh, okay. Yeah.
what that
That
could
could be
be.
part
so-
of it. Yeah, and Kylie and I have talked about this on Bell Smashers before, that the Phillies just have a lot of right-handed pitchers in
Yeah.
general. So maybe if he were left-handed, it would be different. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, like there's a lot of right-handed pitchers, and they're younger, and so that's just the facts of it. As much as we love him,
Yeah.
Yeah, and the minors is a developmental league, so they're trying to
Exactly.
develop younger talent. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I was just a little surprised the guy that's been with you for as long as he was. He came over. Was it the Ken Giles trade back in?
Ken Giles,
When
yeah.
would that have been 2015,
Yeah.
2016,
Yeah,
something like that?
Yeah.
I know, for like the loyalty aspect of it, right?
Right.
Like, and he came back to the Phillies in the off season too.
Yep.
So yeah, it sucks.
And Ken Giles also does not have a home right now either.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even I don't even know what he's been up to. I haven't really. paid
I don't
attention
know.
to
I
Ken
don't
Giles.
either.
Where's Velasquez? Velasquez was in that deal, right? We got Velasquez.
He
Pittsburgh.
went somewhere
He's in
last year,
Pittsburgh.
didn't he? Pittsburgh.
Okay.
that's right, yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Vinny Velo?
Vinny Velo, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where players go to
Pittsburgh.
disappear. Pittsburgh Pirates. Makes
They
sense.
made a hype video for him.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do remember
And
that.
I was just
Yes.
like, oh man, Pittsburgh. You
They were
deserve so much
they-
better.
They were.
It was
they were
13
very
seconds
mistaken.
long. Yeah.
2016 or 2016. He had those 15 strikeouts against Houston, right?
I think it was his rookie. I think it was like his first career start.
Yeah.
It was.
I was so pissed because I was going to pick him up in fantasy and I didn't. And it was literally the third week of the season, and I texted your dad, Mike. It was your dad and my brother-in-law, and I was like, oh well, there goes my season. and I think he was throwing a no hitter going in like the fifth inning or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there goes the no hitter, or it was the fourth inning. Like, well, there goes the no hitter. I was just being negative, and they were like, dude, it's the fourth inning. Like, what did you
Wasn't it
expect?
funny? Isn't it funny? Like the biggest highlight in his career, he wasn't even pitching. He was playing left field.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
His second biggest highlight was when he threw a guy out at first base left-handed. He got hit in the
That's
arm.
right. That's right.
And
Yep.
he threw the glove off and
Yep.
or whatever he did, and he threw it left-handed.
That's right.
Guys, this is why we appreciate the team we have right now.
Yes.
It's been
Yeah.
a journey.
Remember
And I think
Michael?
that's-
What's his name? Michael Saunders. He played right field for a minute.
Michael Saunders.
That's my biggest thing because
God
a lot of
forbid.
people are panicking right now with Reese being gone and Painter's elbow and just a whole bunch of crap to start the season. And everybody, including me, is used to the crappy bench that we used to have and just subpar team in general. But Dombrowski and everybody there is like better than we've had. And
Yep.
they have the postseason experience. They have all that. So they have the next man up mentality before. They've had to do it. So I'm trying not to panic because it's a whole 162 games.
Yep.
We got a lot of time.
And just let's say the pitching still wasn't great. We have Trey Turner.
Right.
That dude.
Hopefully he
Jeez.
picks it right back
Fifth-
up on Thursday.
Fifth best
Oh.
MVP odds.
Yep.
Trey Turner.
Yep.
Really? Fifth?
All right.
Yep.
Wow. I'm hammering that.
Yeah, we
Thought
looked
about
up early on the show. Yeah, who did I say was the top five? I think it was Soto, Mookie,
Acuna.
Tatis, which is a weird one, and then Trey Turner.
Tatis is suspended 20 games.
Mike
in the
loves
season.
Tatis. Can I just say Mike loves Tatis? He loves cheaters.
Oh,
Loves Bonds.
it was an accident.
Loves
cheater.
Tatis.
Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. We're
No,
not
he
gonna start-
shouldn't.
Yes, he
An
should.
accidental
No, he
cheater.
shouldn't.
Yes, he should.
Loves cheaters. Hates Harper. Hates Harper.
I do not
loves
hate
cheaters.
Harper. Barry Bonds
Love
100% should be in the Hall of Fame. The best home run hitter in the
You know-
history of the sport should be in the Hall of Fame.
You know who
Because
doesn't
of
cheat?
juice.
You know who
The
doesn't cheat?
MLB basically
You know who
gave it to
doesn't
him. They endorsed the steroid use.
Hey, Mike.
How can you say it's
Okay.
okay for 20
Mike.
years and then just all of a sudden be like, "Now we're keeping him out of the Hall of Fame," even though
Hey,
we
Mike.
told you it was okay?
Hey, Mike.
Go ahead. What?
You know who
What?
doesn't cheat?
Who?
Nick Sirianni.
That's why he hates him.
That we know.
I
of.
know.
Spygate hasn't come out yet. All right? I'm sure. I'm sure it's gonna happen.
I'm just saying.
Mike, you like Gabe Kapler too, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I
He
do
cheats.
like
he takes steroids too
I
for
do like
different
Gabe
reasons.
Kapler.
He cheats too.
He puts ice cream in his mouth and then spits it out.
Yeah.
What? That's a thing?
Yeah, you never heard that story?
No.
Oh,
That's
man.
like cheating. It's like cheating on your body because
Yeah,
you know.
you
need
to get the
ice cream's
flavor, but it doesn't want to
Yes.
intake.
Yep.
I see. That's a psychopath move.
I hate that
Yeah,
so
That's
much.
such a psycho move.
And
He
that's
plays
Who
on
would you
himself.
rather have? Who would you rather have, Girardi or Kapler?
Kapler.
Kapler, yeah, Kapler.
Mike would take Kapler
100%.
over Skip. Right now,
Look at what he did. Like the Giants were not a great team, or at least a great roster, and he took that team and they won 100 games or close to it.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago. They haven't done anything in 2 years.
They haven't done anything in
All right, whatever.
And he's got
Come
that
on, Mike.
I'm just saying.
tattoo on his hand now.
Why did this turn into a Gabe Kapler hate podcast?
Oh, because you love him.
Because you don't like Gabe Kapler.
And you hate Bryce Harper.
And Nick Sirianni.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Talking some Phillies, so we'll have to have you guys.
We'll definitely
on.
have you guys on. Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're happy to be back.
Yeah.
Absolutely, so.
Congrats to you guys on 100 episodes, and thank you guys for
Thank you.
keeping us.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for not kicking us off the network.
Despite me constantly breaking the website.
I've thought about firing Kylie multiple times. It's
Yeah,
come
she
on.
knows. She tells me.
Yeah.
Happens quite a bit.
It does. We appreciate it, and we want to talk to you guys later. Yeah, go ahead,
real quick, I was gonna say I appreciate the as much. I appreciate the amount of slander you give Mike on the Slack. So,
dude, all the
if
time.
it's not me, it's got to be you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's not me, it's
I
got
got
to be
you.
you. So,
I got you.
so
exactly. Fair enough. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye, guys.
later.
Bye, guys.
All right, that does it for our final guest. What a eventful episode here.
Yes, yes.
tired.
I felt a
I'm
lot of
ready for bed.
emotions.
You
I felt
did.
a lot
It
of
was-
emotions.
It was
tonight.
a roller coaster.
Mike, great idea putting this together.
Thank you.
Gotta give you props.
Thank you. It took-
Well, let's be fair. It was both of our idea, but you know what?
Well, okay.
As much,
it was
hold on,
gonna be. Hold on. It was gonna be my
Go ahead.
idea, but I wanted you to feel like it was your idea. That's just
So,
what a team
no.
player would do.
I am 100% okay with saying it was a 50-50. But I will say this. As any viewers, listeners, I am going to give Mike his flowers. It doesn't happen much, but just the amount of time and effort and work he puts into this, he is, he is fired up. So, just between producing our show, getting it together, everything you see, 98% of the website is him. So definitely giving him his flowers. It doesn't happen much. Don't expect it much going forward.
I appreciate you saying that. I do, and it's
like fired up doesn't happen without Mike. So
I mean, I would like to think it doesn't happen with any of us.
of course. But I you are the anchor, and
I appreciate that.
I think I speak for Chris too. We both appreciate everything you do for the brand and the show and the website.
Well, I appreciate that, and the show kind of started, Dom, around 2 years ago. Just me and you, and now we've added Chris. Been a great addition. We've built an entire brand. We've built, a great community of people that I just want people to be proud of, to be a part of, if that makes sense. So, and I think we've accomplished that. And listen, we still got more to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Still got much more to do. Keep kicking ass and taking names. But listen, this is probably the longest show we've ever done. I'll be honest. I'm tired. I got to get to bed. Before we get out of here, do you guys have any sort of final thoughts you wanted to talk about before we leave here?
I just want to say how excited I am for baseball to start this week.
Yep.
I am excited for the Sixers to start in the playoffs, even though I don't expect them to do anything. I'm excited to see where the Flyers go, even though it's been shitty. I'm hoping it seems like things are going in the right direction. Hopefully, I say that with caution. But who's the last team? Who am I? The Eagles. Hoping we get back there. So,
yep.
Being a 4-for-4. It's not the easiest thing to do to talk about especially during like off seasons and shit, like the middle of the summer when the Phillies weren't good 2 years ago. It's a grind. So, kudos to all three of us.
Absolutely. And Stat Guy Shay coming up. 21 episodes of a podcast puts you in the top 1% of all podcasts. You guys just hit 100. Incredible feat that takes determination to reach. Congrats again. There you go. Interesting. People quitting after 20 podcasts? What's that about? 99% of podcasts only reach 21 episodes?
We've got a few that we know of. So
yeah, well, to be fair, for 20 episodes with you, I debated it. So
yeah. Listen. Oh, here we go. My cat.
What's going on over there?
Wow.
Chris, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Would it be 100 episodes without my cat?
No, it wouldn't.
Let's be realistic here.
Yeah, no, I'm just really excited for this next 100 episodes, seeing what else we can do, continuing to get fired up. When the Eagles draft Bijan Robinson, I'm gonna get
number 1 overall. We're gonna move up to 1.
I'm gonna get Dom a signed jersey.
We'll make that happen, absolutely. But the thing is, if they draft Robinson, he's gonna love him. He's gonna go nuts about it, and he's gonna completely change.
You guys think I'm gonna root against them? I'm not gonna root against them. I just don't want to take him in the first round. That's all.
Dom, I'm hoping you get this hit tonight on this parlay.
Not looking good.
Well, 61-57.
Well, I got other games too, but
and then real quick, because we were just talking about it's hard to be a 4 for 4. I just heard this the other day, and I'll be really quick with this. Parlay guy put in at the beginning of the last year. Eagles to make it to the Super Bowl, Phillies to make it to the World Series, and Sixers to make it to the NBA championship.
Wow.
$50 would have won him $10,000. He cashed out at the Eagles Super Bowl like $4,200. You guys cashing out there, right?
Wow. No, not right there. And I'll tell you
not
why.
$50 either.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you why not right there. I would cash out probably at some point. I wait till the Sixers get past the first round. I know it's an if or whatever, but if they get past that first round, that cash out I think would be more.
Okay. Just something cool to look forward to.
That's a crazy wild. And also, no faith in the Flyers.
That
makes sense.
If you put the Flyers in there, it would have probably won like $1 million.
Yeah. $50 to win $1 million. But all right, listen, we're gonna get out of here. Well, I'm sure next week we could have another rant about Bijan Robinson. I'm sure it'll come up. We'll have more stuff to talk about. There really wasn't much news to talk about this week, just because we had kind of a jam-packed show. So again, I appreciate all the on the podcast, on the network, all the writers that write for us, the great team of people that we have. We wouldn't, be doing what we're doing without all the help of everybody. So completely thankful for those people. And we're gonna get out of here. Next week will be 101. We're in the triple digits. We cracked it. So we will see everybody next Monday. See ya.